Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Due to extreme weather conditions, this year's Parade of Lights event is unfortunately canceled. Our Shelby Clark spoke with Ryan LeBlanc from the rescue squad on how residents can still support businesses that were involved.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is once again Ryan LeBlanc with the Lloydminster Rescue Squad. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Shelby.
Glad to be able to speak with you once again, but unfortunately, it's not for a good reason. I know we are speaking recently on the Parade of Lights event, but now for today, we are speaking on the cancellation of this year's event. So, kind of starting off, can you explain why it has been canceled?
Yeah, you bet. So we met as a committee, and we were just looking at the weather forecasts, and it was forecasting to be in the mid 40s, minus 45, minus 48 degrees. So, we thought with the safety of our volunteers, we have around 40 to 50 volunteers that are outside, and they have to be outside for the duration of the entire parade, even a little bit before. So we thought it's just for their safety, the participants' safety. We didn't want anybody to get hurt, so we thought the best decision would be to cancel it for this year.
Yeah, and that's really unfortunate, especially due to weather conditions. It's not really something you can control, of course. So that is very sad to hear. Now, I know we were speaking on some of the businesses that were involved with this year's event. So how are they kind of handling the cancellation now?
You know what? The community understands, and everybody I've spoken to is they understand. They're disappointed, but they understand, and they agree with the decision. So, what we are doing is encouraging businesses to still participate, as they can decorate their vehicles, or their entry and put it out front their business, over the holidays, or even for a night, and post that on Facebook. That's something that they can still do. I know lots of people did put in a lot of work and time to get their entries ready for Thursday, but unfortunately, the weather's just not going to be on our side this time.
And it's just worst timing, of course, with this cold snap and the extreme cold warning this week. Just ran into the worst timing with the Parade of Lights event coming up on Thursday. So that is definitely unfortunate. But I know some people were wondering, with the holidays still coming up this weekend, and of course, next week will be quite busy. A lot of people take some holidays around that time. So, is there a possibility with after the holidays, maybe in the new year, that maybe this event might happen and maybe just save it for kind of like a celebration afterwards?
Not at this time. We did briefly discuss that, but no, at this time we're just going to cancel it for 2022, and just look forward to the 2023 parade. So, there might be some new changes coming in 2023, but we'll see how those go. But at this time, no, we're not planning on doing anything into the early new year.
Yes, that's completely understandable, Ryan. Just really wanted to help get the word out there, just for anyone that may be wondering and wanted that piece of information, maybe thinking that the Parade of Lights would be postponed instead of canceled for this year. And, that is a smart idea, because we all know January and February are not too nice with the weather conditions as well. So,
Yeah.
yes, I know many residents love this event, but I don't think too many of them are really excited to be able to stand outside for too long in these weather conditions. Now, you were saying that the next year, the planning process is already in place.
Yeah, we're having discussions with a couple changes that we'll be able maybe to look at announcing in the new year, and I guess yeah, we're excited for the future with it. So we'll see how it goes.
And I know you're already kind of bringing this up, but can you expand on how people can help support with, supporting the businesses now with the event canceled, and other ways that they can help, donate and support?
Yeah, we had the Lloyd Rescue Squad, the Lloyd Regional Health Foundation, and the Lloyd Midship Exhibition Association as the benefiting charities for the event this year. If you still want to make a donation to those charities over the holidays, that's awesome. We are still collecting toys for the sexual assault services. So we'll be donating those over the holidays, or just after the new year. So if you want to drop off a donation at the Lloyd X, you can stop there and drop the toy donation off. Otherwise, yeah, we're hopeful everyone has a very Merry Christmas and enjoys the holidays.
Perfect, Ryan. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today. It's really unfortunate to hear about this cancellation, but you're right. It's better to be safe than sorry, and better not to risk that frostbite.
No, for sure. So I think it was the best choice, and we're sad to see it this year, but I mean, I think it'll just make next year even better.
Exactly. That's what everyone can look forward to for next year. Bigger, better Parade of Lights events. Thanks again so much for joining today, Ryan.
You too. Thanks, Shelby.
With Christmas right around the corner, Jace Mackey caught up with the local RCMP for tips to prevent mail theft and fraud prevention.
Albertans have collectively lost $3.5 million this year to fraudsters. One popular scam that's picking up steam here in Lloydminster and across Alberta is the grandparent scam. I'm joined today by Constable Melanie Flynn from the Lloydminster RCMP to talk more about this. Constable Flynn, what are some tips that residents should keep in mind to avoid falling victim to scams?
Yeah, this year we've definitely seen some scams that have been somewhat localized, I guess we'll call them, like phone calls being made saying they're someone's grandson, they were in a car accident, send some money to support me or help me with this tow bill or whatever. I think just looking for those red flags and fact checking, right? Calling that person, if you're getting it via text message or if you're getting it via email, always taking that extra step and making that phone call to that important person in your life or even that important charity. We've seen some localized scams with like local charities and local churches and stuff like that. But just taking that extra step and fact checking with the organization or with the person themselves before sending any type of money, and knowing that loved ones or charities would most likely they shouldn't be asking for funds or arrangements being made online or via like gift cards or Google cards or iCards or anything like that. So yeah, just fact checking that stuff when you receive it, and looking at email, like errors in emails, like or errors in phone numbers and stuff. If it's not something you recognize, don't even answer it or click on it.
Well, thank you for those tips. And I know this time of year, a lot of people are getting a lot more mail. They're getting a lot of packages for Christmas. Now, what should people keep in mind to ensure that they aren't falling victim to having someone swipe one of their packages from their porch?
You get those notifications usually when you do order something online. So just keeping track of your package, whether it be through Canada Post or Amazon or whatever, and just recognizing when it is expected to show up. The postal delivery guys are very busy this time of year, and error does get made and packages do get dropped off, at wrong addresses, but just recognizing that and if be neighborly, I guess. If you notice that a neighbor's package has arrived at your address and it's the wrong address, going and talk to your neighbor and let them know that, right? So neighborhood safety is a major is something to be vigilant of during this time of year and stuff. So just keep an eye out on your neighbors' areas as well.
Well, those are some great tips to keep in mind. Thank you so much for all the information, Constable Melanie Flynn from the Lloydminster RCMP. Thanks so much for all of this and have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thanks, Jace.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Welcome back. Now we go to the final pet project of 2022 with Border Paws Animal Rescue. At Border Paws Animal Shelter for our final pet project of 2022. Very exciting, but also kind of sad, but you had so much going on this year, which turned out to be amazing on all fronts. Today, we're not focusing on a specific animal. We are in one of the cat hallways here, just showcasing just a little bit more of what they have here as well. So tell me a little bit about some of the cats that we're gonna see here.
So yeah, we've got cats of all colors, shapes, sizes, tons of kittens right now, tons of young adults, as well as we have some older ones too. We had so many kittens come in October that they're all coming back from their foster home now because they're either, all ready to go find their forever home. So yeah, we have a sale going on this week, 50% off. We're trying to find everybody homes for Christmas. So if you're looking to add an addition, this is the week to do it. 50% off, you can't go wrong. Gives you some more money to buy them some extra Christmas presents.
Yes, exactly. And I love the 50% off. You know, it gives people a bigger incentive to want to bring an animal into their home, of course. How does the adoption process kind of work for those who would like to maybe take home a kitten or a dog this season?
So yeah, all you got to do is go right to our website. There's an application online there that you can fill out. Even if you don't know who you want, I suggest doing it ahead of time. That way when you come in to meet the cats, you've already got an approved application you can leave that day. Whereas if you came in and filled it out that day, we do have to call your references, so it's not right on the spot. So if you want to get ahead of the game and fill it out online, you don't have to write down which animal. You can just say cat, and then you can come in and adopt your baby who you meet that day.
That's awesome. And you know, usually around holidays, especially around Christmas time, animals are a big gift. But then when the new year comes, you'll see an increase of them coming back to the shelter. What is some advice you'd like to give those who do want to give a gift, a cat or a dog as a gift to somebody, and hopefully, you know, what kind of advice would you give them?
So I would probably just say, you know, you got to keep in mind, I mean, animal is anywhere from a 10 to 20 year commitment. So I don't think a lot of people think about that, but cats do usually live anywhere from 15 to 20 years. And I mean, depending on the breed of the dog, you're looking at 10 to 20 years too. So my suggestion to everybody is to just, you know, do your research, come down to the shelter, get to know the animal, as well as make sure everybody in your household is on board. I know sometimes, you know, a wife might get excited but doesn't check with the husband first. So just make sure all parties in your house are on board, and that you just realize, like, this is, you know, a very long commitment. It's not short term. And yeah, I mean, come meet the animal first, spend some time. We can even put you in our office and you can spend an hour or so with them just to get to know them, because we want to make sure everybody's going to the right home and finding the right fit.
Of course. Now, over the weekend, you kind of wrapped up the official jail and bail with Randy Marsh staying over at the shelter, and you have a grand total, which is an amazing total, well exceeds your goal of $25,000. So tell me a little bit about how that weekend went with him and the final total.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I know he stayed from 9 at night on Saturday till 9 in the morning the next day. I know he had a lot of fun there. We sent some kitties with him. They had a blast. So over the weekend, Randy brought in $1,265. Rhino Roofing donated $500 on top of that. And then Harris Electric donated another $533 for a grand total of $2,298. So we added that onto our jail and bail, and the final total for jail and bail was $41,939. So we killed our
which is incredible, goal. And it just adds to your already successful year of events that you guys have done, which is amazing and a great way to end off the year as well. Now, the new year is coming. Is there any plans for the new year that people should kind of keep in the back of their mind event-wise coming up?
So yeah, we don't have anything specific right now, but we did actually hire a new events coordinator, so I know she's got some stuff up her sleeve there. As well as we would like to kind of get our volunteer base going again. So keep an eye on our Facebook posts or page, because we're actually going to set up another volunteer orientation. So then we can get a bunch of volunteers and you can kind of come see how the shelter works and all that, and then decide if volunteering's for you.
And so then finally, again, I'm going to ask, is there any donations that you're in, and how does the donation process work with the holiday hours that you may have?
So yeah, we are always in need of donations. I mean, kitten food, puppy food, adult as well. Kibble and wet, we can never seem to have enough. As well as blankets, with it being so cold lately. You know, we go through blankets like crazy. So yeah, if people want to donate, we're open 12 to 5. You can actually come into the shelter. Or if we're not here, we do have a bin out front. You can just drop it right out front there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and the rest of the year as well. And we'll be back, of course, in 2023 in the new year to continue on with pet projects. So thank you so much for joining me this year.
Thank you.
Pet Project is sponsored by the Pet Pad. For total pet care, think Pet Pad. It has been a busy year for the Lloydminster Men's Shelter. As Ian Tidswell found out, the organization is facing a number of challenges.
Hello and welcome to the show, Valerie. here with the Men's Shelter of Lloydminster. Would you mind telling our audience a little bit about what you do with the organization?
I am the executive director, have been since 2018, so a little bit pre-COVID.
Okay, and I see you brought a friend here. Would you mind introducing your friend?
Sure, this is Michael Davison. He's the chair of our board.
And as the board chair, can you tell me a little bit about what the day-to-day looks like?
Most of my job involves making sure that really Val has everything she needs to support her team and make sure that the shelter stays open and everyone is content with the services we provide the community. And then a fair bit of advocacy work. So I'm not afraid to hop on the phones and call our MLAs or call members of the community and ask for help or tell her story or whatever is needed to just make sure that Val can do her job.
Awesome, and I know every different kind of business, charity, and organization has faced a variety of challenges over the last year as we've transitioned out of the pandemic. And I imagine your organization would be particularly affected. So could you talk a little bit about how the last year has been in that transition, and for either of you?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. When the pandemic hit, we were lucky to receive some additional funding from our generous governments to support our clients 24/7. So just to lessen their footprint in the community, keep them safe. And you know, that has been through the winter for 2 winters. This is our 3rd winter now going 24/7. But it's not without its challenges, for sure. We've seen an increase in some mental health struggles with our clients and you know, some addiction stuff that we would see with some clients and maybe, you know, a little bit more of that.
And were there particular challenges in the last year as the 24-hour cycle? No doubt there were some changes in operation in the 24-hour cycle as we came out of the pandemic with different, you know, cleanliness requirements and stuff like that. Has the, you know, day-to-day at the shelter changed much in the last year?
A little bit of loosening. When those restrictions were loosened, we followed suit. It's hard to maintain that level of structured day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
So we did loosen restrictions a bit, but we continue to keep the ones that are really important, which is sanitizing the shelter on a regular basis, and those things we were happy to sort of keep in place and that sort of thing.
Of course. And of the last 12 months, have there been any particular challenges that have cropped up that have made things more difficult for you guys as an organization?
We're seeing an increase in people coming to the shelter for support, for sure, and different types of support. We see more women, lots more women coming, I think from other communities. They've made their way here, and there just isn't the support in place for them. So we are having them, we welcome them into our lobby, we keep them safe and warm and fed. And so there's that, just an increase in the diversity, more youth that are coming, and we're seeing an increase in families who are housed. They're housed in the community, but they don't have enough disposable income. Not that it's disposable income to feed your family, but they're not making it from check to check well, or from food bank visit to food bank visit. So they're coming in for some additional food hamper support from us, just to keep things going.
Yeah.
I was curious, you mentioned about this special kind of individual, and not only like for any kind of volunteerism, you need a special kind of person who wants to spend their time, but also for those who do so professionally in your field. What are the qualities of a candidate? What is the kinds of education that somebody might get in order to come to an organization like yours and make a meaningful difference?
Lots of people come to us because they've had experiences with homelessness or being marginalized themselves, or they've had a family member, and it's just sort of where their heart is, to help people in that level of need. So that's a lot of times it's people that want to be there because they know what it's like firsthand or secondhand kind of thing.
I think that's true at every level too. So not just the staff, not just you, but even at the board level, each one of us sort of has a kind of a bleeding heart for this specific issue that relates to a relationship in our life or an experience in our life. And just depending where we're at and what time we can commit in our careers is how we end up with a diverse set of people that we do across all levels of the organization. So,
Yeah. And we have a lot of staff and our board as well who are all long-term. Like people come and they want to be a part of it. There's a lot of challenges with the clients that we serve, but there's also the rewards are amazing and immense. And the smallest, good thing that happens to a client is just, it's like phenomenal. People don't understand it. Those baby steps are huge where we are.
I think that's a big thing. Talking about the kind of person that we need, you can't be the kind of person who wants perfection, right? You have to be the kind of person who's satisfied with progress, and that's sort of the reality I think we live in day to day, month to month, year to year. When we talk about our government relationships, when we talk about incidents that happen over the weekend, what we shoot for is it's better than last year. I make some off-color jokes now and again, and we talk about we just don't want, this is a joke, I say, we don't want anyone to die this winter. That's our goal, no one to freeze to death. And you say it for ha-has, but there was a time in Lloydminster where that was a real goal that we had to achieve as a community, is say we don't want somebody out there being exposed to the extreme conditions. And it's something that we strive for, and any improvement is improvement, and that's all we're really looking for. It might be too,
just talking about if there was specific goals you had for moving towards a new facility, whether that be fundraising goals or more technical goals of specific locations you wanted to be, or specific aspects of the facility that you were aiming for. I imagine having a variety of spaces for showers and things like that, the sort of thing that you can't just find in any building.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we are kickstarting fundraising again after COVID, when it was just a dry time. So we're back on track with that. Our coldest night of the year is coming up in February. I think our coldest night of the year is, frankly, it's in December this year, maybe November. It was pretty darn cold. But our event is in February 25th, 2023, and that's our most well-known fundraising event of the year, because it's just closest to identifying how the challenges are that our clients face and how fragile life is for them in the winter, for sure. We'd love to partner with some community partners, businesses, different organizations who are interested in being a part of moving us forward to a space that is more able to meet the needs of our clients.
Right. I want to really answer, I love that roadmap question. You got me really thinking. I'm going to actually just lean in.
Yeah, go ahead.
He said we have all the time in the world. How the roadmap works, it's so tricky. So I think the first step is fundraising, right? Money, money, money. And that fundraising is more about the money that we have, right? It's more about the $250,000 or $300,000 that we need. What that money is really about is we can go to somebody selling a property and show that we're serious, right? And we can show that the community is behind us. So $250,000, for us to get, I'm just picking a number, to get to $250,000 takes a lot of people in this community to buy into us and what we do to move that needle forward. So when we go, we can say we're serious and we have the community behind us. When we need to talk to the city because we need to ask permission to open a shelter, because it's a very specific kind of building with a very specific kind of expectations, we can say, and we have the people behind us, because look at everyone who stepped up to support us. When we go to the governments to say we need to change our contracts to expand our scope, and we have the people behind us, and then we have our stats, we can go to them, and then we can get into that building, and then we can do the hard work of actually doing the work. But it all starts with that campaign, it all starts with that fundraising, and then telling our story. So, sometimes it seems a little crass to be asked for money, but the truth is, it's not just about the money, it's about the story, it's about the people, and it's about going to our representatives and saying, look, there's a need here, there's support here, will you support us? And And it all begins with the campaign.
Well, thank you guys both so much for coming into studio and speaking with us today, and we look forward to seeing you guys grow, and I really hope to come down to the grand unveiling of a new facility sometime next year.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you.